Cool.
All right. Hey, Kara.
Hey, Kathleen.
I'd ask how you're doing, but I know you're a little under the weather today.
Yeah, well, it's been 2
Man,
weeks.
oh, the
Uh,
worst.
I know.
Hi, everyone. It looks like we have some attendees starting to join. We'll give another minute or so for anyone else who is trying to join. But thank you all for being here, and we'll get started in just a few minutes. All right, let's go ahead and get started. People can continue to join. Let me go ahead and get this presentation up for everyone to see, and we can get going. All right, so thank you again, everyone, for joining Intellirent today for our webinar, Getting the Most Out of Your Technology with Intellirent, how to digitize your process and get rid of the tedious work. So we are your hosts today. We're a team that practices a product-led business strategy, meaning that we are end user focused and rely on the product as the primary driver of new business and client success. We've built Intellirent for you, so your voice definitely matters in everything we do. So our goal is to save you time. I mentioned we're industry experts and we're a product-led team. So really everything that we're doing here at Intellirent is just to put together the best product and experience for you and your renters. So with us today, we have Kara Hohne, your client success manager, who is a little bit under the weather today, but here with us and helpful as ever. Kara, I don't know if you want to say a few words or not.
Well, unfortunately, I am under the weather, so I'm not going to speak too much, but just wanted to say thank you and welcome to everyone. I am your client success manager. I not only help the AAOC staff, but I also help AAOC members as well as their prospective residents with any questions that they have or the onboarding process with Intellirent. I'm a former association executive in Indiana, and I'm also a licensed real estate broker. So thank you so much. And again, welcome.
Awesome. And I am Kathleen Castro. I am the product experience manager here at Intellirent. So I've been with the team for seems like forever, but I definitely have good knowledge on the ins and outs of Intellirent, how you can best use the tool to be successful in your own businesses. I work closely with our support team and with our product team. So again, going back to that feedback from you guys, we really do listen. If there's ever any issues or questions you have, definitely let us know. And we are, happy to look into that and see how we can make our process the best ever for you guys. So our agenda for today, we'll go through a quick Intellirent introduction. We'll introduce rental marketing 101 with you, and go into some applicant screening 101. And finally, we'll conclude with a Q&A session. So just a few housekeeping tips or housekeeping points. This webinar is being recorded for your convenience. So we'll be sharing that recording. If you need to step away or happen to miss something, we'll make sure you have all the information. And we'll also be taking questions throughout the webinar, as well as at the end in that Q&A session. So feel free to type your questions in the chat or in the Q&A option as we go. and we'll be happy to either answer them, replying back to you, or live if it's something that's coming up. So definitely feel free to submit as many questions. We love hearing from you guys. All right. So how to get started accessing your Intellirent account. So you'll always want to access your screening resources via your member portal. So the way our partnership here works with AAOC, you are able to access your Intellirent account without needing to create a new account with an email or username and password. As long as you're logged into your AAOC member dashboard, you can just click to launch in a single click to get to your Intellirent account. So you'll want to go to your, again, AAOC account, and under resources, we are Intellirent screening. You can also find it directly at www.aaoc.com/Intellirent. And you'll definitely want to save that as a favorite so you can always quickly get back to your account. And again, make sure to always access your Intellirent through this click to launch banner, whether you're visiting for the first time, whether you're visiting for the first time or just going back to your account, it's the same method to get there, just clicking that banner. All right, so as I'm sure we are all very aware, 2020 and the years following fundamentally disrupted our modern workplace. For the most part, we really are all online. And even with the resulting acceleration of this digital transformation, we're still burdened with that work about work. So approximately 720 hours per year, so 60 hours a month, are spent on those repetitive tasks. That's 38% repetitive tasks, 16% on strategy, and 46% on skilled work. We are here to help you shift your focus to those important things that really matter. So now is that time for you to level up your workflow. And why? Well, improved processes could save you hours in your work week, giving you time again for the things that matter most. And so you're probably wondering, how can this even be achieved? Well, most importantly, you have to spend less time on work about work. We all know it, the endless emails following up on outstanding items, transferring information over and over again, the repetitive list that our industry is very well familiar with goes on and on. But with smart automation and new advances, it doesn't have to be this way. So not to be underestimated, finding tech that not only improves your processes, but aligns with them to achieve your goals is crucial. You shouldn't have to start from scratch when you're making changes. So ultimately, when you're confident the technology powering your processes has your back and is keeping your business organized, you don't need to be spending time checking in, confirming and reconfirming that all of your boxes are checked. So the partnership between AAOC and Intellirent was formed with these key ideas in mind. Today, we're going to walk you through exactly how Intellirent's tools for AAOC members will make this happen. Right. So getting started with rental marketing. Rental marketing, also known as advertising your listing or vacancy, is the goal of advertising is to obtain leads in order to find qualified prospective renters. The goal of Intellirent is to make this simple for you. We'll help you create listings that include the most attractive features to renters and get your listings in front of a huge audience instantly. So we'll go through, again, what attracts renters, why you need to be syndicating, and how you can do it. All right, so attracting the best renters. What's really important here is to strategize to better understand what exactly it is your renters want. So starting with what probably comes to mind first when you're thinking of posting a listing, photos. So you want to always be sure to use high quality photos. You want your potential renters to be able to picture themselves living in your unit. So show them everything, but make sure you're not sacrificing quality of photos for quantity. Something I always like to mention Make sure that you're showing all of your storage space, so cupboards, closets, whatever the case is. That seems to be something very important to renters. And again, the main goal, just making sure that your potential renter can really see themselves living there. Next, you'll want to consider seasonality. It's important to put your best foot forward in the best time frame, so you don't have to make any decisions to lower your rent prices. So what we've found to be historically true is that demand will fall approaching the end of September and through fall. A little bit more granular prices may also fall towards the end of the week. So again, when you're getting in there right away and making sure you have your best listing present at the right time, you don't have to start thinking of those maybe price changes you'll have to make. And speaking of pricing, you'll want to find that optimal market rate. So your potential renter is definitely going to be looking at many listings online in their search. So you should absolutely be doing the same. Check out how other landlords and owners are pricing their rentals in similar areas with similar features, amenities, layouts, and so on. Make sure you're staying competitive and not taking yourself out of the game with the price that won't attract. You can use different sources like Zumper, Craigslist, apartments.com, again, just to get an eye on what exactly it is your competitors are doing and how they're placing their listing. And finally, you'll want to list all availability only. Get eyes on every single vacancy you have when you have them. It's important to keep your online presence up to date. So just take advantage of all of that internet real estate when you have more than one unit available in a building, but never when you have zero vacancy. Again, going back to keeping that online presence up to date, you don't want to have unavailable listings out there and put some type of distrust out there for maybe your other units. So just make sure you're staying on top of that. Okay, to find highly qualified renters, you need visibility of your property and a great renter experience. Renters cannot apply for your property if they're not finding it where they're looking. So syndication, the goal of advertising your property is to obtain leads in order to find qualified prospective residents. Let's say that again, because it's so important. Obtain leads and find qualified prospective residents. And that's what syndication is really here for. So a few great benefits that it offers. Number one, saving time. Traditionally, getting your listing published across multiple sites meant creating and managing a unique ad for each site. And when that process takes several minutes for each site, it can quickly add up. Using Intellirent syndication feature, you'll actually only have to publish your listing once and then advertise your vacancy across over 70 internet listing sites instantly, guaranteeing maximum visibility for interested renters. And when you're ready to make updates or edits to your listing, you just have to do it once. So again, I'm sure we've all been there when you see there's maybe a typo in your listing and you need to go in and fix that. Imagine going to every single site that you posted it on and catching that typo and fixing it. That takes so much time. But with this Intellirent syndication feature, we're sending your listing across the board. So you only have one spot that you need to make these changes to. And what are we all looking for at the end of the day? More time. Second, you're going to reach a larger pool of applicants. When you widen your reach and more interested renters are able to find your listing, you're giving yourself more options to select the most qualified renter. There's no sense in limiting yourself to leads from a single site when your perfect resident could be just a click away. So bottom line, increasing your exposure means reducing your vacancy, which ultimately means increasing your revenue. And I think that's also what we are all after.
Kathleen, we had a question that came in beforehand that I thought might be pertinent right now. What is the site that is most popular for interested renters?
Yeah, that's actually a great question, and can be a little bit tough to answer because, as we all certainly know, Renters are constantly changing their mind and changing their preferences. So something that is great about using Intellirent for marketing is that you don't have to worry about that. Intellirent's, again, doing that groundwork and getting your listing published on every corner of the internet. So no matter what site is trending this week, your listing can be found. So instead of trying to see what's the hot new site right now in your area, just publish it across all of them. And then again, you're not having to make updates or change it to a different site every time. Great question. All right. My listings. So you know why you need to syndicate your listing. Let's dive into how you do it. So important to note, Intellirent is not an internet listing site, and potential renters will not go to Intellirent to find your listing. Rather, we take your published listings and send them to our partner listing sites when you've activated our syndication feature. To start taking advantage of Intellirent's free syndication feature, you'll start by in your AAOC account, you'll go to My Listings to begin publishing properties, editing published properties, and organizing your available listings. So we'll show you a little bit of that here in a minute. So a few important details: publish versus activate. Publishing a listing in Intellirent does not automatically activate syndication for it unless you've already turned on syndication for your entire account. More on that later. Account verification. When you activate syndication, also referred to as rental marketing, for your property or entire account, will quickly verify your account for our partner listing sites. So this is typically only required on the first activation, and once done, those listings will begin being sent to our partners. However, when you are accessing your Intellirent account directly through your AAOC member login, this happens automatically for you. With the partnership that we have and the way our relationships work with our partner listing sites, when we're sending your listings there, we're verifying that these are valid listings, that we have vetted these accounts, these property managers or landlords or however, and we're basically giving it our stamp of approval, so that there's no issues getting your listings published. So when you are accessing your Intellirent account directly through that AAOC membership login, we are verifying you instantly because, again, we know that you're coming from AAOC. So you are, basically verified already to be using internet listing sites. So just another great feature or part of this partnership and relationship with AAOC. It's just a sped up process that's more secure and verified for you. All right, listing site guidelines. So as mentioned before, we're not an internet listing site, but work with our partner listing sites to get your vacancies advertised. Each partner listing site has their own guidelines for what will or won't be accepted for advertisement, but we've made sure our system accounts for the most frequently found guidelines from our partners. In the off chance you find that your listing is being rejected by a partner listing site or you're not finding it there, we've published a knowledge base article to help troubleshoot what may be missing from your listing. But I think Kara will go ahead and share this knowledge base article in your chat. Another thing to remember is that leads will always go directly to you. So the contact information you've provided on sign up, or in this case, the contact information that comes along with your AAOC membership account will be shared with our partner listing sites. So when a renter is interested in your vacancy, they'll reach out to you directly via those contact details, not through Intellirent. So a couple things here, because your accounts are being created through your AAOC membership account details, the typical sign up process where you're entering those details is bypassed. But if there's a different maybe email or phone number that you want listed with your listings for renters to contact you at, that's something you can change from your account settings. in your public profile. And I think we'll touch on that a little bit more here as well. But if there's any different contact, that can easily be updated. Also important to note here, so leads go directly to you, meaning however you're used to typically receiving those responses from your online rental ads, whether it's email or a phone call, that same type of process is going to be happening. So once you've connected maybe with these interested applicants, the next step would be for you to invite them to apply. And we'll definitely get into how that all works and how you can send those invitations. But just want to make that connection clear there. All right, so website listings. If you have a website already and want to see your Intellirent listings on that site directly, we are happy to help set this up for you. So reach out to Kara for more information on this. Similarly, vacancy report feed and API options. If you have a large amount of vacancies or frequent changes in vacancies in your workflow, we can help manage that publishing and archiving process through these options. So again, if this is something that speaks to you, follow up with Kara to learn more and get that set up. And finally, technical support. So if you ever have issues or questions on publishing your listings or issues with our partner listing sites, feel free to contact our support team for help. You'll send all details of your issue along with the property in question to support@myintellirent.com for immediate assistance. Also check out the knowledge base section on listings and rental marketing for answers to some of those frequently asked questions. Something here I always like to mention as well, another piece of our relationship with our partner listing sites and another benefit that you get using Intellirent through your membership account. If you've ever tried to reach out to some of those bigger internet listing sites, if you're having any type of issue with your listing or needing to get something fixed or updated, it can take some time because it's one big general type of support inbox for just users of their site asking for help. If you have any issues with the partner listing site or with your listings and you come to Intellirent and ask us for help, we'll first go in and look at the property and make sure everything is all right and checks out. But if it's an issue with the partner listing site, we have separate channels of communication, I guess you could say, with their support team, where we're able to reach out to them more directly and get a quicker, potentially more helpful response. So just helpful to have that relationship sort of in your back pocket there. Kind of a fun top tip or hack I like to mention. All right, so to add a new listing, you'll go to My Listings in your member account in Intellirent, then click the Add a New Listing button. The publishing process is similar to what you're already used to when publishing on partner listing sites and guides you through what needs to be included and what should be included. So what we suggest adding alongside the required details. When going through the process, all fields with an asterisk are required. Those without are not required, but remember, the more information you're able to provide, the better. A couple things to note here. If the hide address feature is selected, your listing will likely be rejected from most of our partner listing sites. So make sure to only use this option if there is a specific need for it. If you are using this option, you have that need for it, just note that some of the features on the partner listing sites may not work the way you're used to. The maps won't show the precise location because they don't have that address published. And if you're just browsing through the map options on those listing sites, you typically won't find your listing that way. Again, because they don't have those exact details. So just something important to mention, but it is an option there for you. Next, you'll add a good description, as many amenities and photos, high quality photos, as you can, and publish. Another note here, if you close out of the process before you're done at any time, your listing will be saved and can be found in the My Listings dropdown under drafts. So if you're not able to finish in the moment, maybe life happens, your computer dies and the window closes. Don't worry, we are auto saving your listing along the way. So again, you can go back in there, find that draft and then publish it. To activate rental marketing, you can activate it once your property is published from that property details page, which will only turn on rental marketing for this property, or you can turn on rental marketing from your account settings to enable it for your entire account, meaning every property that is published already and those that you will publish in the future will automatically be syndicated. So if you are cycling through a lot of properties that you know you're going to want to market and you don't want to think about it, definitely recommend going through your settings and turning on rental marketing. If, for instance, you are publishing properties that maybe you don't want to advertise on partner listing sites right away, maybe there's different things you're doing for each individual property, that property details option would be your best bet there.
Kathleen, we've had a few questions come in. So
yes.
We're kind of actually answering this as we go along, but do we need to have accounts already set up with the 70 sites prior to listing the units through Intellirent?
No, you do not. And I'm glad that this question was asked because it can come up in a few different ways as well. So first, to answer your question, no, you do not need to have accounts with those 70 listing sites to publish your property. We'll send those to them for you. If you do have accounts with those different listing sites and you're wanting to use Intellirent's marketing feature for syndication, we recommend removing the listing from whatever account sites you already have set up or where you might have it published already. And just publishing once through Intellirent. Reason being, what we've come to find, again, working with these internet listing sites and just troubleshooting different things that come up, one of the main things they're looking for when deciding whether to allow a listing or not is if it's a duplicate listing, which is really, again, in your best interest to make sure no one is taking your listing details and fraudulently posting them. But if they see that they already have this listing published on their site, and now it's coming from Intellirent again, your listing will likely not be published through Intellirent, or it might be blocked on the other end. But either way, it can get a little bit confusing or difficult to update the details. So if you're using Intellirent for syndication and you have accounts on the other sites or something set up there with your properties, it's easiest and probably in your best interest to just pick one or the other.
Great.
Any other questions?
Not right now.
Right. Oh, actually, something that also comes up now that we're talking about specific partner listing sites is the paid accounts. This is a relatively new thing that's been happening over the past couple of years, and it kind of is always in flux whether listing sites are charging for listings or not. But what you need to know in terms of using Intellirent for rental marketing with those paid listing accounts, if you have those paid accounts set up already with, let's say, the Zillow group sites or Zumper, that's the perfect way to get them there, even through Intellirent. So you'll want to make sure that your account with Intellirent is using the same email address as those paid accounts, again, with like the Zillow groups or the Zumper groups. And in our knowledge base in that article that Kara previously sent, there's more details on that and the different contact information at those sites to make sure your accounts are linked. But if you're wanting to have your listings published on those specific sites, that is an instance where the account would need to be set up there. But you don't need to publish your property on both accounts. So it's just a matter of setting up that payment really with, those few accounts. But otherwise, everything else stays the same. All right. So troubleshooting for rental marketing, publishing properties, and so on. So first, you'll want to confirm the full address of your property is correctly published in Intellirent. So do not include or add statements in the address fields. Everything's labeled when you're going through and publishing those properties. So where you see the address field, just make sure that that's the full address. If you're wanting to add a name for the property, there's a field for that as well, for your own internal organization. You'll want to include the apartment number if applicable. So missing apartment numbers are considered a wrong address. So just make sure you have that full house number to apartment number address present. Again, as I mentioned previously, hiding your address may cause most listing sites to reject the property. And again, if it is accepted, the listing may still not show up on maps since there's not that address to map it to. Something along those lines as well is hiding your phone number. There's an option for that in your account settings if you don't want that present. But again, a lot of sites are going to block that listing unless they have your full details there. Confirm if your property was added to any other syndication tool. So whether that's the site directly or maybe an MLS or just different option. If a property is being sent to listing sites using a different syndication source other than Intellirent, this may impact that ability to post through Intellirent. You'll want to upload at least one property image. If you're trying to send a listing without any images, we found that a lot of sites will think that's maybe a bit skeptical and you might not see your listing published there. So make sure to upload at least one property image. Confirm your contact information is correct. Again, you'll visit your settings and then go to public profile if there are any edits you want to make to what is being presented. And finally, you'll want to allow between 2 to 4 hours for most sites to see your listing published. Some may take up to 24 hours. So I touched on this a little bit, but as a security measure, all partner listing sites may take some time to verify, then add your listing to their site with, again, your AAOC membership account through Intellirent. We speed that up a little bit, but it can still take, a few hours if something comes up on their end. And finally, Intellirent suggests that you publish and activate marketing before 4 p.m. Pacific, just to make sure that it's updated to their feeds as soon as possible. We also know that Zillow Group updates the fastest throughout the day, but really with each site, it's dependent on their own feed update and publishing schedules. If you are not seeing your listing after 24 hours on those partner listing sites, definitely reach out to our support team and we're happy to help look into that for you. And happy to reach out to those teams if we need to, and just make sure you're getting that listing published. All right. Any other questions on rental marketing or properties? All right, then we can go ahead and move into application screening 101. So you've now gathered your pool of interested applications. So you now need to determine who that best fit is. A traditional application process can seem daunting, but it doesn't need to be. And the goal of screening applicants is to find that most qualified renter. And again, the goal of Intellirent is to make this simple for you. So we'll help you send, collect, and evaluate applications with confidence. Something we all know, the best renters expect that best experience. So when the application process is too difficult, time-consuming, or inconvenient to complete, good renters can be put off. The Intellirent experience for renters was created to promote easy, quick, and secure completion of the online application, so you never miss an opportunity with a great fit. And something I really want to emphasize here is that secure completion aspect. The application is a full coverage application, and I'll get into this as well, that it's using the AAOC rental application, but it's really been created to make sure your renters are safe, and you're safe when evaluating applicants. So all the details that we're asking for, again, are standard rental application details, just meant to make sure you have all of the information needed to make your best decision. So an interesting stat here, 63% of home buyers in 2020 made an offer on a new home without seeing it in person. So that was 2020, and it's only grown since then. That has, again, just become the norm here in our industry. And it shows a shift in trust and expectations. Resident screening is a two-way street. Renters have become comfortable submitting applications for rentals sight unseen through online application processes, which means owners and agents have to evaluate an application without always meeting an interested party now. So adjusting to these expectations definitely requires good judgment that's based on trusted and verified data that's collected in the application. It goes without saying, renting to a bad tenant comes with immense costs. So missed rent and late payments, first and foremost, a tenant who is unable to pay rent in full or on time will immediately impact your bottom line. Now, there's a difference between, that one-time oopsies and a habitual missed rent tenant. Oftentimes, warning signs can be found in the credit reports for tenants who may fail to pay rent on time. As another tip, look for missed payments elsewhere. But what about a tenant who may not be able to pay rent in full? How can you know the stated income in a rental application is accurate? Collecting and verifying pay stubs and bank statements helps, and so does contacting the provided employer. What makes it even easier is having it done automatically by Intellirent. Plus, we're also launching soon a really exciting new partnership that is going to help with your income verification. We'll certainly be making announcements about that as we're launching, so stay tuned for that. But it's really exciting. Next, maintenance and damage costs. It's important not to underestimate the potential costs that's associated with damages left in your property from a bad tenant. But how can you be warned of this possibility through a standard rental application credit report? In short, it takes an intentional process to look for these warning signs. You should always be collecting tenancy or landlord verifications from current and prior landlords. Questions asked and answered should give you a better idea of who the tenant is and what kind of renter they are. When conducting our tenancy verifications, some questions we ask include, are there any outstanding amounts owed due to delinquent rent, utilities, or damages to the unit? Was a 3-day notice ever served for this tenant, and so on. And we'll look at those verification documents in a bit here. Finally, high vacancy is costly. Finally, adding to the total cost of renting to a bad tenant is the cost of filling your vacancy again, if or when that tenant needs to be removed. Evicted residents have nearly 3 times as many prior eviction-related rental collection records than non-evicted residents. However, eviction judgments are not automatically included in background checks. Again, that's the eviction judgments. Therefore, you should always include a rental history or tenancy verification as part of your screening process. So something that Intellirent is always staying on top of through our partners like TransUnion and through our partnerships with AAOC or just apartment associations in general, is making sure that we are staying on top of what type of local legislation is happening, what may or may not impact your rental applications or reports that you're receiving back. So we've learned a lot about the credit reporting process in general. So again, due to different legislative actions or different local laws that go into effect, sometimes those eviction judgments won't be found on the application. It can also depend on the time frame. So making sure that you have additional steps to check those details is very important. So that all may sound a little bit daunting, but there is a light at the end of that tunnel. There are ways to protect your business, and it's through comparing the right data. So first, the TransUnion reports. So that TransUnion resident score carries a higher level of scrutiny related to on-time rental payments. So most consumer reports like Experian or different outlets that applicants can sometimes use to view their consumer reports are designed to return approval for credit cards and auto loans. These score factors can be very forgiving, whereas TransUnion carries, again, that much higher level of scrutiny specifically related to on-time rental payments for property managers and owners. Additionally, TransUnion owns all of their data and it never uses a third party. So with the ability to quickly cross-reference an applicant's data, false positives are reduced and your credit reports will contain richer and more accurate data, further reducing your time. So this is all stuff that's happening in the background to make sure you're getting that best and most accurate data. Next, income and supporting documentation. So members should always gather and compare the right data that helps you understand your renter's budget. Make sure to review the documents provided for each applicant in a group, plus any guarantors, to determine if their rental budget aligns with your rent amount. And finally, again, those rental history verifications. If rental history verifications are not currently a part of your screening process, they absolutely should be. And members should always have verification of the listed rental history to help determine if the information provided on the application is accurate. So going into the application to rent, our partnership provides members with a modern alternative to qualifying potential renters through Intellirent's Smart Match Leasing, which is basically our workflow management solution. So by combining AAOC's application to rent with instantly returned data in a multi-layered renter resume, you are in control with increased visibility and secure decision-making. We have an online mobile-friendly option with built-in best practices. So you'll, again, receive that completed application to rent, verified supporting documents, plus those full TransUnion credit reports. And another important and exciting and selling feature for your renters, applicants securely share files without a hard hit on their credit. So it's a soft pull when they use the Intellirent application and does not impact their credit score. So as a member, you'll add valuable customer service while also simplifying your operations. Something else that is incredibly important to mention at this point is the dangers around double entry. So if you're used to collecting those paper applications, one, going back to saving time, it is certainly a big, waste of time, double entry, taking what's already written there, calling the credit reporting agency, giving them that information. It's just a lot of back and forth. So there's also not a ton of security embedded in that type of process. Again, when you're just collecting those documents or maybe asking for an applicant's social security number or other sensitive details to then provide to those reporting agencies, it's not secure for you or your renter. Something else that is often overlooked or maybe not thought of is the risk of human error on entry. And it can be down to maybe handwriting not being the best or whatever simple mistakes can happen when you're trying to gather or enter those details for your applicant. It can result in incorrect or incomplete records. It might send back a different individual's information. So when you're having the applicant go through the online rental application with Intellirent, you're putting that onus on them. They are the ones who are going in and directly entering their information and verifying it, confirming that it's all entered correctly. And they're doing it securely. Our application has bank level encryption and security. They are communicating with TransUnion directly, authorizing the release of that information, which is why it's that soft credit check, so no impact to their credit score. All right, so going into my applications. You know why you need to screen applicants fully. So let's go ahead and dive into how you can do that. So first, I mentioned it previously, but we are a mobile optimized site. So your applicants can fill out the applications from anywhere. You can use any device to do so, and so can you to review those applications if you're on the go. We have document validation. So Intellirent will verify your applicant's uploads for security. We offer international credit reporting. So through a partnership we have with Nova Credit, international applicants from supported countries can still apply. It's important to always be communicating your criteria and let your applicants know what they can expect out of the application process. There's an identity verification process that the applicant will go through. So immediately after the applicant with a social security number submits payment, they will be displayed that TransUnion identity verification questionnaire. It's a security step that is timed and directly related to your applicant's credit background. So it's important that the person who is associated with that social security number is the one answering these security questions. It's also why when asked if you as an agent or member can enter the details for your applicant, say you've collected a paper application, we're going to tell you, no, it's better that they go in and do that themselves. Again, for security, but also this identity verification exam is going to have questions that only they can answer. So after the questions are completed, you'll immediately be returned that full credit report, plus any other eviction notices or background checks that come up. We have team collaboration options. So if you manage a team and need a secure space to collaborate, Intellirent provides organization features. So if this is something that speaks to you, follow up with Kara after the webinar to learn more. And finally, those employment and rental history inquiries. Automated for quick completion, Intellirent works around the clock to get answers to those questions you need to know the most from employers and current or prior landlords. When you're ready to send an application to an interested renter, you have two different invitation option types. You can send from a property or you can send a general invitation. So in this option here, we're showing the general invitation. Within the request application modal that pops up, you'll find additional options for how you can send your application invite. You can send by email, by SMS, or with a direct link. Keep in mind, if you're using the direct link, Intellirent will not be able to track the status of the invite the way we would if it was sent via email or SMS. So people will typically ask if they can add the application to their website or elsewhere. So yes, that option is available through Intellirent with that direct link option. But as mentioned, we won't be able to track where in that application process your interested applicant may be. Whereas when you're using the SMS or email, once you've sent the application, you can see it from your dashboard and you can see the status of that application. So whether it's been accepted, started, pending, you can track that whole process. Something else here, yeah.
We do have a question.
Okay.
Does Intellirent verify, excuse me, the employment history or just collect it?
Yes, so we do have a verification process for employment. I think in just a couple slides, I'll show you what that looks like. But we're doing both. We're collecting the information for you to see, and we're going through a verification process to verify those details. All right. So from property details, when you're sending an invitation, it's a similar process, but it helps to keep your applications even more organized. If you have multiple properties published in Intellirent, you'll want to send property invites so you can keep track of who is applying for which property. The AAOC resident screening flow is highly customized according to AAOC's recommendations. So agents, again, will receive that complete TransUnion credit report with score plus nationwide eviction notices. This is a little preview of what it'll look like from your dashboard when you're reviewing the application. Again, it's the full AAOC rental application, just entered digitally. You have options to download, print, share this application file that we call the renter resume. It will include everything from the credit and background reports provided by TransUnion to the supporting documents that are uploaded and any verifications that are completed. You can find them all in this renter resume and download it by clicking download application. So verifications, income, employment, tenancy, and pet are all actionable items for both yourself and Intellirent. Immediately after an applicant pays the application fee, agrees to terms, and submits the application, Intellirent will email that authorization to release form along with a secure link where the employment and the current tenancy contact can quickly verify online. Color coding will let you know the stages of the actual items, and it's just one way Intellirent's helping you efficiently manage those applications. All green would mean that the application has been reviewed, verified, and is a positive candidate. And we'll go into the other colors here in a moment. Completed verification. So when the verification is completed, you'll receive an email notification with the outcome of that verification, plus notes on any discrepancies. Again, using color coding, you'll be able to see the different statuses of those actionable items. So all green, again, means the application and the verifications have been reviewed, verified, and a positive candidate. Yellow would mean that the verification is still pending, and red means the completed verification has responses that you should review. And I want to make a special note on this one here with what discrepancies mean and what type of actions you should be taking there. So when you get a notification that one of the verifications has been completed and there are discrepancies, it doesn't necessarily mean you should deny this applicant right away. This is a red flag to not proceed. What it means is that something in the way the employer or landlord has responded just will require your additional review to review those responses. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad tenant. Just again means your review. It can be anything from maybe the applicant misentered the date that they moved in by a couple of days. So that's something to review. Or it can be that maybe they're going through some type of eviction proceeding. It's a wide range of possibilities with that discrepancy option. Again, that's just meant to bring your attention to it and review. So once you've reviewed, if you're comfortable with the response given, you can accept that and then proceed with your own processes, but just make sure that you're reviewing those. So the verification forms, again, Intellirent is going to reach out to your applicant's current and prior landlords via email and phone as needed. And these are those attached signed authorization to release forms from your applicants and the questions that are asked there. There's also options to self-complete these verifications. So all contact details for landlords in the tenancy verification questionnaire, as well as employers in that employment verification questionnaire, are provided to you. So if you'd like to follow up with landlords or complete the verifications on your own, it is quick and easy to do so. If maybe you're not ready to start with the automated verifications, if it's still something you're wanting to do yourself, you absolutely can do so as well. From your account settings, you can opt to turn off the automated verifications. And that'll just stop the emails from going out to those contacts. You'll still have the forms if you'd like to use those to complete the verifications. And whenever you're comfortable or ready to use that automation, you can easily go back to your settings and toggle that back on. So the automated verification process for tenancy, first is the initial request. So when your applicant pays for and submits that application, current and prior tenancy verification requests are immediately sent. Next is a follow-up. So if that verification is not completed within 12 hours of that first request, landlords and renters are each enrolled in a follow-up email process with reminder emails for any incomplete requests sent in a timely manner. So we'll follow up and try and get these completed. And finally, the third step is the phone call. So if the request is not completed within the first 24 hours after sending, our team will immediately follow up with a phone call for completion. So we're really on top of this and trying to get these back to you as quickly and completely as possible. Other instances will come up where we're placing those immediate calls if there's any type of issue with the email address that's entered or something else that just requires us to reach out directly, we'll do so. But again, I just want to stress how important these verifications are for you to get the most complete and full picture of an applicant. If, and this happens occasionally, maybe your renter doesn't know the email address for their landlord, or maybe their landlord doesn't use email. As long as they're communicating those details with you and with us, we can help them move past that section. One way that we often will recommend is using the like filler email address, noemail@noemail.com, or if they're speaking to you directly and asking about it, there's an agent approved at noemail.com. We'll share those details. They're in our knowledge base as well for how to proceed in those cases. But we're always willing to work around circumstances. We know that getting those applications completed and received is important. So we can help out in those situations.
Kathleen, I have a bunch of questions. Some we're going to wait until our Q&A, but I've got two right now that I think are super important. Can you auto verify as well as manually do the verifications?
Yes. So if you want to leave automation on, so we're still sending out those reminder emails, you're still going to have all of that contact information and the forms. If you're wanting to follow up on any return verifications, if you're wanting to just sort of do it in tandem with the automation process, we're giving you all of that information. So you can, follow up as many times as you'd like to as well. We're just, trying to get that done as quickly as possible for you.
Great. And another one, can you provide an example when one would not want verification to occur automatically?
It's just down to your comfort level, I'd say. Automation is a great tool and a great benefit of Intellirent that we're going through and just getting this done for you. So you just have to worry about reviewing that completed file. But if maybe a situation comes up where you're wanting to review the application before reaching out to that prior landlord, maybe there's some type of agreement you've come to with the applicant that you won't contact them until that point. Maybe then you'd want to turn off automation. But generally, if there's no sort of special circumstance or you're comfortable with that process, we recommend leaving it on.
I also want to point out that I think it's, in everyone's best interest to recognize that this is information that is yours. This is your information and you choose what you want to do with it. Again, Intellirent is not making any decisions. We are just helping you come to make the most accurate decision for you as an owner. So again, it's not us doing a pass or fail here. It is you, this is your information, and you can follow up however you'd like. We're just trying to make this easy. That's all.
Exactly. Thank you, Kara. All right, so the automated verification process for employment, it's similar to tenancy. We'll reach out to your applicant's current employer with a secured verification link and file via email, plus an easy income verification process for agents to review proof of income that's provided firsthand. So something else, and I mentioned it, but another great feature launching soon is an integration that's going to help with those income verifications and provide you with even more information than before. So definitely stay tuned for that as well. We're very excited to announce this very soon here.
We have one more question. Does Intellirent show which section of the application is red flagged, or do we have to figure that part out?
Yeah, so we have indicators throughout the application, whether it's the applicant details dashboard or in that renter resume file. Anything that needs your attention will certainly be called out. You'll see the discrepancies in any verifications, again, with that color coding. In the renter resume or in that credit report from TransUnion, if anything is a red flag, if you will, in TransUnion is also highlighting those. So we're showing them very clearly in the renter resume and calling attention to them. So you don't have to, go digging. You'll also see if there's any type of eviction record or any type of background check notice that comes up in the application, alongside the credit score in that applicant details page where you're just reviewing their information. There's indicator icons that will signal to you that you should review this credit report. Good question. All right, so some best practices for applicants to complete and submit their applications faster. First, I want to mention all of these details are included in your AAOC member toolkit that you can find on Intellirent's page on the AAOC website. Also, when you are signing up to use Intellirent for the first time or accessing your account for the first time, you'll receive communication from Kara that also includes that toolkit, but it's a great page to review if you want to be able to help your applicant get through their application faster. But of course, our support team is always available for you and your renters should anything come up. So just going through some best practices, applicants should only create their renter account through the invitation link that's sent by you. Do not ask applicants to go directly to the Intellirent website. It's just, they won't be able to submit that application, or it could get lost or tied to a different agent. So you want to make sure you're sending those invitation links, and that's how they're creating their application. Applicants can log out and back into their application at any time. So if they maybe are interrupted or need to come back to the application, they can certainly do so and log back in again at any time. When doing so, applicants should not use the invitation link to log back into their application. If they're trying to access it that way, they might end up creating a new application account. So it says create a new application if they're following that link. Sometimes people miss it. So you just want to make sure that they are switching to a login. There's highlighted text and buttons on that page as well. But they'll want to log in if they've already started.
We do have another question. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, sorry.
If all data fields are required before continuing, how does the applicant handle missing data? Like you had mentioned, no email for landlord, et cetera. Can they request live support?
Yes, absolutely. So if this comes up at the time that they're completing their application, we have live support readily available for them. And we can walk them through how to bypass a certain section. We're always communicating with them that they should be letting you know of these situations firsthand. Just to make sure that you're aware of the situation, whether it's they don't have that information right now or they don't have it at all. But our support team can absolutely help them through that and provide them with different options for proceeding. So, good question. And again, as Kara mentioned, all data fields are required for your benefit, really. It's just to make sure that you're getting that full application file so you can confidently make those decisions and just make sure that you're, deciding accordingly. It's also important to mention here that, again, this application process is really quick and simple for renters. Typically, they can complete these in 15 minutes or so. It's not too tedious a process for them. The fact that it's online and mobile optimized means they can access it at any time. And if they don't have supporting documents with them at the time, I'm skipping ahead of myself here, but that's something that they can upload later in the process from their dashboard after paying and submitting. So we've really made a lot of steps or features of the application with, again, that renter in mind to make sure that they have the easiest time getting through it.
I do have another question. These are all wonderful, by the way. I'm very, very excited. How does Intellirent gather the income and history of each adult applicant? Wonderful question.
Yes, so in a group application setting, you'll only want to or need to invite one person of that group. So there's usually one person in the group who is that main person who's going to make sure all their roommates get their applications filled out and so on. So whoever that primary or first applicant is, you only need to invite them, and they will add any co-applicants or their own guarantor to the application on their first page. Those co-applicants or roommates will receive their own invitation to apply from that main primary renter, and they will access their account in the same way, complete their own application. So they're uploading their own relevant documents, pay stubs, all of their own information, so that you're getting individual applications, credit reports, pay stub information for each individual applicant. Those applicants can then invite their own guarantor if you would like for them to do so. You also have an option to allow guarantors or not, or when you want to allow them from your settings. So lots of options there depending on what your processes are. But in those group application settings, we are collecting complete files for each person 18 years or older listed on the application to make sure you're getting all of that relevant information. All right, so then this final tip, and it's a good one, applicants should inform their landlords and employers that we will be requesting verifications, and make sure that they're providing the most accurate contact information of the person who can verify their details. This, again, just helps in making sure those verifications get completed as quickly as possible. When your applicant is going through the actual application before entering their different verifiers details, we are letting them know that we'll be contacting them. So it's not a surprise to them. We're letting them know right there before continuing that we will be reaching out to them. So just making sure that they have the most accurate information and giving them that warning is certainly helpful.
I do
So
have,
if your applicants have, go ahead.
Sorry, another question.
No, of course.
And this is a question we get very often, and it's a favorite of mine. What if I'm just a mom and pop owner with a single home? This application seems too rigorous for my target renters. Is Intellirent right for me?
Yes, so we work with landlords, owners, property managers of all sizes. Our application is, again, meant to just be a quick, secure, and full collection of data for your applicants. So whether you have just one property or 10,000 properties, the application is going to provide you with the same information. And again, it's for you to have that complete file on them. It's a truly simple process to go through it beginning to end. And if any type of question or issue comes up, you or your renters can contact our support team directly, and we're absolutely happy to help you out there. And if you're maybe interested in seeing what that application process looks like for yourself, you can send yourself to a different email address, a sample, invitation to apply, and just click through the pages, see what exactly it is that we're asking for. You don't have to, pay and submit that application unless you wanted to see the full process beginning to end. But it's something we always recommend if you're interested or maybe have concerns about what that application process entails. But it is very easy. And again, applicants get through it pretty quickly. So I think you would definitely find that we certainly be the right fit for you.
Thank you.
Of course. So if your applicants have any additional questions, again, I mentioned they can reach our support team at any time, but they can also visit the knowledge base section for renters that will help answer questions specific to their application process, dashboard, etc. Okay, so just going through takeaways. Rental Marketing 101, main goal is that maximum reach with high visibility. Using Intellirent syndication, you can manage your rentals across multiple sites, and you're going to get more leads for free. I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but Intellirent is absolutely free for you as members, whether you're using screening, rental marketing, both, one or the other. It's always free for you. Your applicant is going to pay that $40 application fee that covers the costs of it, and you will never pay a bill for it. So really important and exciting to offer that for you guys. And then Renter Screening 101, as mentioned, those best renters are going to expect the best experience, which is why we've put together a quick, easy, and full application for them. You want to verify and compare the right data, and you want to automate. Give yourself that free time back that we're all desperately searching for. So don't forget to access your account. Again, whether you're accessing for the first time or maybe revisiting your account, you'll always want to go through AAOC.com/Intellirent and then use the click to launch banner. First time, returning, same process there. Once you're in your account, if you ever have any questions about different processes, or maybe you're just curious what else there is to offer in Intellirent, you want to see what kind of articles we have for your renters even, you can go to the knowledge base. We have answers to most frequently asked questions, to different processes in Intellirent. A lot of what we went through here today is in that knowledge base, if you find yourself stuck or just want a refresher. So definitely recommend visiting the knowledge base. When you have questions, you'll more than likely find an answer to them. But also if you're just interested in learning about different processes with Intellirent. If you still have questions and you need any type of support or assistance, you can always, again, reach out to our team. You can reach us through this support icon here, or you can also reach us directly through support@myintellirent.com. You can give our support team a phone call, 415-849-4400. Or if you just have questions about getting started with Intellirent, looking for tips or advice, I know Kara is happy to connect with you. So you can reach her directly. Her contact information here, 812-202-1963. or by email, khohne@myintellirent.com. And if you have your phones handy, you can also scan this QR code to get her full contact details.
Well, thank you.
All right.
I have a ton of questions.
Okay.
So, get ready. Okay. Let's see. Okay. How long do we keep all of our information?
That's a good question. So we store information as long as you need it, pretty much. So we're not going to auto delete or remove anything, but if requested by either you or the applicants, we are happy to delete or archive any data. When an applicant reaches out and requests something like that, we're always letting you know first. So you can go in, and if you need to review those documents again or download any of those files again, you can do so. But we can certainly remove or delete any information whenever needed.
Is Intellirent a listing service like the MLS?
Great question. So we are not a publicly displayed internet listing site. So your renters wouldn't be going to Intellirent.com looking for a rental to apply for. But what we will do is take your published listings and send them to partner listing sites. We'll syndicate them out. So they will go on those other publicly displayed listing sites where your renters would find you.
Okay. Can we charge more than $40 through Intellirent to pay for our administrative costs for our part of checking information?
Yeah, so there are certainly customization options. If you have maybe different processes or different application fees that you're used to, maybe with your original processes, that's something that we can talk through. You'd want to certainly reach out to Kara to set up a time to talk to that or get more information there. But yeah, we can help you out with that.
Yes, you can always contact me at any time and I can help you set that up. Another question we have, does Intellirent manage collecting rent and costs?
So presently at this very moment today, no. But we are, and this is the third new feature that I wanted to give a little tease for. So thank you for asking. We are working on options for collecting rent. So at this very moment right now, no. But again, stay tuned and watch for any announcements for us because this is coming very soon.
Another question. I have a property management company. How would we integrate your services through them?
Yeah, so depending on the tools that maybe your property management company is using, we have a ton of integrations available, and we're always building more and creating options for these different use cases. I went through some of the options for properties and how to publish and manage those. But if there's anything specific that you want help on setting up an integration for, or any type of customization, again, definitely reach out to Kara and she can talk you through those options and get something going for you. But we are happy to work with different integrators or softwares to simplify your processes.
Another question, does Intellirent have a flyer or pre-application document to inform prospective renters of the information they should have available and the checks that they'll be performing prior to starting the application process?
Great question. So when your renters receive that invitation to apply and they first access that invite, as soon as they land on that landing page, there's an option to review the rental terms and criteria. So in those documents, they'll be able to see what they'll need available, what type of information we're looking for, and what they should be prepared for. So we do have options there. Again, I would certainly recommend going through the application process as well if you just want to get a preview of what specifically is going to be asked or in what format it's going to be asked. That way, if any questions come up, maybe you're in conversation with them and they ask you on the spot, it's really helpful to have that firsthand experience there.
Well, I also wanted to mention that Intellirent will be at the AAOC trade show and conference on March 30th. So please come and visit us. If you've got any questions, of course, between now and then you can reach out. But if you want to have some one-on-one time, please come and visit us. And please also register early at AAOC.com, the trade show / 2023. Do that as early as possible. And if you've got any more questions, again, feel free to reach out. Just want to say, Kathleen, as always, did an absolutely fantastic job. Thank you for helping me out in my time of need.
Of course.
But again, if anyone does have any questions, you can always message me or call me after the webinar. This will be recorded and we will be sending it out to the attendees. So again, thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.